Ace Bailey drops all the way down to the Utah Jazz at number 5. That was not where he initially wanted to go. He's probably going to still play for them just because it would be very unprecedented if he didn't. What are your initial thoughts on this entire situation?
Yeah, I just feel like you mentioned at the top of that, being unprecedented is never something you want to do as an NBA draft, like prospect or just player, and like at least for the reasons that he is going to be unprecedented for. It feels like the Jazz were never going to be a great spot for him, and like most people wouldn't have projected him to go that low, but before he just started like going crazy a couple days before the draft, and it's an interesting spot for like him because like. The possible destinations were a contending Philadelphia 76ers team and like a couple other worse teams. But now you play on the Utah Jazz, who haven't been relevant since feels like the Gordon Hayward days and Donovan Mitchell. And like you also have to live in Utah now, so that kind of sucks too. And and just everything about the situation just feels so toxic. Like he's entering like the position of being an NBA player in like the worst possible way, and like there is no like pause. Like going into like this draft, I feel like everybody's like thought process towards him was either neutral or positive. He was like one of like the best rated prospects coming out of high school and even into this NBA draft. And now all the conversation is purely negative, which is not something you want to have going into your like rookie season in the NBA. And then also the situation just isn't like a great one with the Utah Jazz, like we were mentioning before. Like their just relevancy and everything about the Utah Jazz hasn't been great. And the Western Conference is as deep as it's ever been. Like there are a solid like 8, 9, maybe even 10 teams in the Western Conference that look to be like solid, maybe not solid contenders, but like real playoff teams. Like we saw it last year. Like the Memphis Grizzlies before they tailed off were like the A seed, and like they were a decent team before their head coach is firing. So you have to go to Utah Jazz team that is nowhere even close to that, and probably like a significantly worse situation than if you would have maybe just kept quiet and went to like the Sixers.
Yeah, this is a weird case of where is the reasoning? What is like the genuine thought process behind him and his representation for why he's dropping? And it's an unusual case of like you mentioned, like he didn't want to go to any teams that actually look like they could end up turning things around really quickly. Like the top 3 teams, like are all I think going to be in the playoffs next year. Like they're all looking really good, and he instead wanted to go to the Washington Wizards, the New Orleans Pelicans, or the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, you're dodging Charlotte and Utah. No blame on those teams, but those were his picks, and he was going to lose out on a ton of money because I think without all of this, he would have went to the Sixers more than likely. And it looks like he dropped what? I saw an estimate of like potentially $10 million. I don't know if that was like what he ended up dropping because obviously the Jazz took him, but he's sacrificing money and he still didn't get what he wanted. Just not a play that I think makes any sense. And you're avoiding playoff teams. I'm just confused by the situation. But here's what I think about this is this was such a risky scenario for a reward that I didn't really see being there. So he goes in and says, he's probably going to be the second or the third pick. I know Dylan Harper kind of ran away with the second pick, early in the process, but you never know. I mean, he said he wasn't going to work out for the Spurs, but you're right around that slot. You're probably not going to drop past 3. You got the edge over VJ Edgecombe, like at the start of all of this. And at the very least, you're not going past Charlotte, right? Instead, now you want to go even further down from that and to get to a point that you want to like get to a team that you want to play for, you tank your reputation, you lose money, and you probably go to the worst team out of all of the groups, right? Because you don't really want to go to Utah. Like I don't think Utah is as dysfunctional as Charlotte, but like you don't want to live in Utah. There's the outside feel. I'm serious. Like there's an outside feeling with a lot of NBA players, like that the Utah culture and whatever's going on there, like it's not as attractive to a lot of rookies who haven't been to that area. And it was very possible that could have happened, that they were going to take you anyway, and you still went with this plan that didn't make any sense, that didn't have a reward. So I am just genuinely confused as to how they thought that this was going to work, that they were going to really be able to strong arm NBA teams. And maybe if Charlotte was that poor, maybe they would have been okay and they would have taken Con Knipple or whatever. But he was just falling too much. Like he was going to be second or third, and you're not going to go past fifth in that scenario. It just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, no, because his talent is just too high for like teams like the Utah Jazz who are rebuilding and could use somebody like him for them to really pass up on that. I mean, Charlotte is like probably in a similar situation and they end up passing up on somebody like for somebody who like his ceiling could be great, but like we'll see. I feel like he's like a lot more of a prospect, and I feel like a lot of the players farther down are. I feel like the top three players in this draft or top four, including VJ Edgecombe, were the more solidified draft picks, and you just knew that like those like he wasn't falling to 8. Like he wasn't going to the Nets. Like that just wasn't gonna happen. Like somebody was gonna pick him up before then. And it just or like even like 7 to New Orleans felt like a little bit of a stretch as well. So like if you're gonna like diss on all these other NBA teams, then like you are probably gonna find or at least the Sixers, you're probably gonna find yourself in a situation that's significantly worse. And it just like again, like we've been saying, it just doesn't really make any sense because like what is so bad about Philadelphia? Or like I never got the
Yeah,
reasoning
I
behind
didn't
that.
understand it either. Like, I don't know if it was like he wanted to immediately get a ton of play time. He wanted apparently to stay on the East Coast, but Philly's pretty close to that area. So, like, I don't know what like I mean, obviously Brooklyn is the closest. Like, if you want to play for Brooklyn, that's fine. But you know, when you watch the lottery and the ping pong balls fall and you see the envelopes come out and you see them at number 8, you have to start thinking about something else
And
because
you
there's too many
also
landmines in the way. You have dysfunctional franchise in Charlotte that you could get caught if you try to tank your draft stock. You have a team in Utah that you just don't want to go there. Maybe like you don't want to live there. And then you have Washington, dysfunctional as well. Like, dude, that's 3 major landmines that why would you want to risk going there to or risk taking your draft stock to get all the way down to Brooklyn if those are the potential options when you could just get picked up by the 76ers? It didn't make any sense to me.
yeah, you also have like you go from possibly like not like and you go from the Sixers who are on the East Coast to the Utah Jazz who are in the Midwest. Like it just doesn't make any sense. Like the argument of like staying on the East Coast because I mean I don't know if like geographically I know Americans aren't the most sound, but even like for our own country, bro, like the Utah is like pretty farther to the west than Philadelphia is. Like I don't understand the logic behind that at all, and like you can understand maybe the playing time thing. Like you definitely like maybe start off in a lesser role alongside like 3 other guys that like have established themselves, or maybe Jared McCain maybe less so establishing himself, but like a 2 solid guys in Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid who
I
you
mean,
know.
that's it. I mean, I don't this is a draft where those top 3 teams like all could
Have we seen?
they
Yeah.
could get to the second round. Like I
Mhm.
know I'm not projecting or predicting, but like their peaks aren't just make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But all 3 of those teams can make it to the second round, especially, I mean, shoot, the Sixers, if they're healthy with the way that the East is looking right now, they can make it to the second round. The Joel Embiid is healthy. That team is different. And you join in that your rookie year. I mean, that's an amazing situation. You play with Victor Wembanyama, you're playing with the best player in the league for the next 12 years. And then,
And
I mean, obviously, you're not playing on the Mavericks, but like you have all these teams at the very top, and they're all playoff teams. Like that is such a great position. Why are you forcing yourself to be with these bad teams? You're still going to get playtime if you're a dog. Like if you're
yeah.
that good, like you're still going to get PT. Like I don't know what he's stressing about.
And
Like
at the
legitimately, and
very
more money, and more money.
That's what I
Or
wanted to say.
yeah.
At the very least, you're losing millions of dollars doing this, and it's also like you were saying, like this might be the most top heavy the top of the draft has ever been. Like you have 3 teams that genuinely are playoff contenders at the start of next season with the additions that they've made. Like he was never going to the Mavericks, so let's count them out. But the other 2 teams in there, it's like the Sixers. Like the Eastern Conference has like 2 good teams, right? 3 good teams right now. If you want to throw the Magic in there, like so the 3 teams that you think are going to be really solid going into next season. Like everybody else, it's kind of just a toss up as to see like what happens. And then you have like, dude, like you have the Spurs who like were just bro, like they're gonna be good. Like Victor Wembanyama is gonna come back, and like pairing alongside that, like it probably wasn't gonna happen that way either. But still, like I. So the clear destination is Philly. I just don't understand like what like I never got the reasoning behind like what the explanation behind not going there is because you get to make more money, you get to play on a better team, and like I'm still doing the geography myself, but like Philly, Utah, bro, like what?
Also, like I'll give you this: like Philly is stacked. Like they got plenty of depth. Like they paid Tyrese Maxey, obviously Jared McCain. Like probably would have won Rookie of the Year last year if he didn't get hurt. Like I get it. Like the backcourt is looking good. Um, but if you look at the order of this draft, like it didn't even really work. if that makes sense. Like it didn't like your plan like was foiled like almost immediately because Charlotte like was probably looking at you and they kind of gave you what you wanted, but they probably looked at it like, oh well, we're not going to deal with this. We already got LaMelo Ball. Like, so we have like a guy who we think is a franchise player and like a super high volume kind of dude. So we'll just take Con Knipple and then go from there. Like, I think they just kind of gave in, but like they had like who they think could be their number one on their team. So like, I don't even really count that because then after Charlotte, you have teams that don't have like a number one for the future, young player that they've paid and like, that they are even trying to build around. Like you got teams that are trying to actively like on full rebuild in the Washington Wizards and the Utah Jazz. I mean, I don't even know what the Pelicans would have done, but I definitely think they'd draft you because they're trying to take their team to the next level as well. Like there was no shot you were getting down to Brooklyn. Like this plan didn't even work like at all.
Like hypothetically, like there's just no
Yeah.
way that yeah. And then also it's just like you were saying before, like we're kind of we're in circles here now, but like,
Yeah.
dude, like I just want to make one last point. Like if you're good enough to be the number three, possibly the number two overall pick, and then in the NBA draft, like you have like your talent is undeniable. Like bro, if you are good enough, if you are like that player, then you like there is no worry about playing time. Like it'll come. Like the money will be better, and also like you get to live in like a pretty sick city and be on a championship contending team possibly. So I just don't. I feel like the gist of what we're trying to say is that it just doesn't make any sense from any angles. And if something else comes out that like clarifies a little bit, that would be really helpful because right now it just looks really dumb.